Oh, well, there you are, friends and family. So good to see you again today. Yeah, you caught me out here finishing up some chores. In fact, I just finished filling up the bird seeders. Or feeders, not cedars. For my little feathered friends. And I'm surprised somebody didn't mention it. Because we've done some walkouts back here on the north lawn and up by the old bamboo forest. And 2 of those feeders were down. Yep, they got blown down. And the ropes that I had them tied to, they broke during that tropical storm we had back, a month more back. But I mean, it's that time of year, you know, once it's into the summertime that, you know, I cut back on feeding them anyway. You know, it's been a good spring here for the birdies. I feed them up until early spring. Then all the berries are out. All kinds. You know, blackberries, blueberries, dewberries, privet berries, and the list just goes on and on and on. And then of course, you know, they got the insects. All kinds of flying insects, all kinds of crickets, caterpillars, and all that. And, you know, that's part of the reason for me keeping my little furry friends, or little feathered friends here on the old home place. If you can cultivate a good stand of wild birds, they will definitely cut down on the insect pressure on your place, i.e. in your gardens. Now, I know what some of y'all gonna say. Yeah, they peck my tomatoes. They peck at this, they peck at that. Well, I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. There's a reason for that. But anyway, we just filled up the feeders. Here they are. Now that one there, as you all know, is for the little birds, you know, like the thrush and chickadees and all of that. Because it's got Niger seed in it. These have got a Wagner's premium bird seed mix for the larger birds, you know. Everything from sparrows to yellowhammers to blue jays, cardinals, greckles, you name it. So yeah, we only got 3, but that's more than enough. You know, I've done some videos out here. And, you know, just set the camera up in the kitchen window and let y'all watch. Birds of all types. And of course, y'all can always hear the different birds, depending on what day I'm videoing, what time of day. And during the heat of the day, like right now, whew, you ain't hearing much. Because they all hunkered down right over in the bamboo forest. And in the pine forest. Yeah. Birds ain't silly. They in the shade too. But, you know, I should stay in the shade. Which right now most of the yard is, as you can see. But it ain't been that way. Today we've been, what? As high as 96. And heat index is 116, 118. Yeah. It was brutal. I mean, it was 91 by about 10:30 this morning. I had to call it time to go in, which I did around noon. Sort of pushed a little bit too far. Sort of paying for that now. Yep. And then I didn't come out till 4. I think it's around 5 right now. And me and Spooky, we got those feeders rehung and filled up. He was here until I started cleaning up the bird bath. And that's what I'm going to tell you. You know, when the birds are pecking at your tomatoes, your squash, your pumpkins, what have you, it ain't because they want to eat tomatoes and all that. As most of you know, they'll peck a hole in it, and that'll be about the size of it. But it ruins your produce. What they're after is they're thirsty. Yes, they are. And they need a drink. And when they can't get some nice juicy berries, they will get their drink from your tomatoes, summer squash, peppers, and what have you. Or at least they'll give it a try. So if you're going to encourage birds by feeding them, so you can have some natural insect predators, then you need to give them a place to drink. Now you're probably going to ask, oh, you got that there pan sitting in that bird bath, Mr. Tom? Well, the bird bath got multiple cracks in it. It's old. I've tried patching it. Caulking. Oh, cement patch. Nothing lasts for long. So I went to Tractor Supply and I bought some of these pans. They're galvanized. And I thought they were galvanized like they were back in the day of my great-grandfather and my grandpa. You know, because those galvanized buckets and pans seem to last forever. In fact, I know where one is right now, hanging in an old well that's been there since the 1800s. I think 1893. And yeah, the bottom part of it did rust out. But look how old it is. But I did have a pan in here, and it rusted because, you know, modern day galvanized products. The galvalume, which is the material that they galvanize on it, is so darn thin it does not seal up the base metal, and in time they will rust. These were bought early summer 2019, so they've had basically 2 years. Yep. Now I've had 2 of them rust through where they were leaking already. This is the 3rd, and it's got some rust in it. And you know what? When I rinse them out every day and put that nice crystal clear water in it, birds don't mind. Now I know some of you know what the stone is for. Some won't. Well, I want you to think about this. The honeybees, the bumblebees, your pollinator wasps, all kinds of beneficial flying insects, they need to drink too. And it's hard for them to come in and try to drink just hovering above the water. That's why if you got kitty water bowls out or dog water bowls, you know, you will find some dead flying insects in your pet's water bowls because they just can't do it successfully all the time, so they perish. So what the stone does is that gives them a pad, sort of a landing pad, you might say. See, right here? And they can land on the stone and come over to the edge right here and just drink to their heart's content. And I've been in my kitchen window many a day watching honeybees, bumblebees, pollinator wasps, and what have you do the very exact same thing. Not to mention some of the tiniest birds, little bitty thrushes, chickadees, oh, all the little tiny birds, you know. Now the bigger birds, they'll perch on the rim. You know, the jays, the cardinals, the greckles, the crows, yellowhammers, and what have you. Ain't no problem. Well, they could stand in it. It wouldn't be no problem, which crows do. Plus, believe it or not, for whatever strange reason in this world, even though I keep fresh water out for the kitty crew, Spooky and Speedy like drinking out of the bird bath bowl. And I watch them all the time doing that, and I also watch them hiding behind that tree trying to pounce on birds here getting a drink. I've never seen them successful. but they are comical. Both speedy and spooky. Getting tongue-tied, been a long day. They get so frustrated that they just go crazy, spinning around and meow. And I know I've showed all of y'all in the past, they get up in that old crepe myrtle tree and they, you know, watch the birds on the feeders. And they'll try to creep down ever so stealthily. And then they'll make a gallant jump, try to get the birds. Nope. It don't happen. Well, not that I've ever seen. But now, all that being said, I have walked out in the yard on occasion, not very often, and I see what they leave of a bird that wasn't paying good attention. You've probably seen it too. There'll be no body, no head that I can ever find. There'll just be two wings spread out either side of where the body was. Yeah, sure will. And I always go spooky and speedy about that. Need to quit eating feather friends. I'm gonna sit down here a minute if you don't mind. Ooh. Sun ain't quite got down below the trees, as you can see. And we got nearly 100% clear skies. Hence why it was so darn hot and miserable day. If I thought yesterday was miserable, today was way more miserable. It surely was. And I'm sure I look it. Yeah, I won't be able to wear my work clothes tomorrow. You know, they were not quite wanting to stand up today. So I knew once I got out here within minutes, I'd be sweating. I really didn't want to put on a clean set. And I was right. You know, it wasn't very long, 30 minutes or more. No, I was covered in sweat. And I went in at noon to cool down for a while, do some inside chores, you know, trying to continue my straightening up the house, organizing, trying to find places to put things up. So maybe once it gets cooler in the fall and lumber prices come down enough, I can do some work on the old place. I'm hoping. Or at least I'm going to try. But those lumber prices got to come down. Trust me, they do. I don't know how these other YouTubers do it. Now, granted, they got, you know, way larger channels than Mr. Tom. And hence, more money. Yeah. More subscribers, more viewers, and that's all fine. No, old Mr. Tom ain't complaining. Somehow I've always got by. Sometimes you gotta take a little bit at a time instead of trying to bite off big pieces, okay? And then don't get stressed about it. But back to the feathered friends. Come this time of year, and hopefully as the temperatures start to wane a little bit as we get into September, I don't look for them to until about the latter part of September, you know, maybe third, fourth week, if we're lucky. But you never know with all these here rain fronts we keep getting. We've had a whole lot of days that it was in low to mid 80s, which for us is just chilly this time of year. Of course, it's been raining rather significantly, so it wasn't like you could get out and do a whole lot, you know. But it does save on the electric bill because my air conditioner has been going 24/7 wide open. Ooh, since sometime, probably in early June, maybe even late May. And it's just cranking it out right now too, so it'll feel good when I get in there. Yep. And I've got to clean up a little bit, and then I've got to fix dinner. Yeah, supper. And it's something that I really enjoy, and it's something rather special. Now I ain't gonna spoil the surprise for y'all. Yep, you're gonna see it as I make it. And hopefully, it'll turn out just right. It ain't like something I ain't made hundreds of times. But like I found out here the other evening, and came in late, and that, I was way too tired. And I thought, well, I'll cook up one of my favorite things and I'll share it with y'all. And it all went north. Yep. Now, it wasn't that it wasn't tasty. It was. But I would have had to admit, it was just a tad on the overcooked side. And what was it? Well, it was pork steaks. You know, those cubed ones? Yep. Seasoned flour and all that. Oh, yeah. And rather than do them in a pan, since I was awfully tired, I thought, well, I'll do them in the toaster oven. I'll roast them. Well, I miscalculated how thin they were and my time, i.e. I was resting too much and not paying attention. And like I said, they were delicious. They looked beautiful. Yeah, they didn't burn. They were chewy. You see, this is one thing, folks. I don't think I've shared anything with you, at least from what I've read in the comments. I've never had anybody come back and say, well, that was just crap. No. Maybe they're just being kind. But I know in other cooking videos of other people and all that, and as you know from my community on other topics, people will express their opinion regardless. So I've been real fortunate there, but I know most of what I do share with you, or all, it's my own stuff. It is tasty. I've made it hundreds, if not thousands of times, just like I'd made those cube pork steaks. Normally, in a pan. Normally, I watch them the whole way through. You know, check them with my official, you know, doneness checker, my thumb. You know, because you can tell by how much give they have. But I wanted to have one meal with nice pork steak, some nice pork steak gravy. Now the gravy was jam up, let me tell you. Now I made that from the drippings in the toaster oven pan, which was sort of silly because, you know, I had to get out a small frying pan anyway. So it really didn't save me a whole lot. So that was great. And then I just made me some instant mashed potatoes. I think they were sour cream and chive. Yeah. When I'm tired, just like I know y'all out there, yeah, I'll break out the Idahos in the bag. I surely will. Yes, sir. And then I just cracked open a can of peas and mushrooms. Yes, sir. The fancy kind. My last can, by the way. Oh, those were all bought back when the wife. That was my last can. Now, you know what I buy? Libby's, Del Monte, great value. Suits me just fine. You want them a little sweeter? Mix in a little bit of sugar. Yeah, that's what my mama did. Grandmama. Now, it was a tasty meal. However, it was chewy. And you know, I always do a taste test. And I didn't want to be there in front of y'all going for about 3 minutes. And I didn't want to have to swallow a hard chunk of meat. Yeah, I'm not going to fake it. And I'm not, you know, a cooking channel or Food Network where, hey, don't turn out right, let's try it again and take two. And another thing I'll say, if there's any way possible for me to eat it, which I will say I did eat all of them, all 5 of them, I will eat it. And like I said, they were tasty, they were just chewy. In fact, the remaining 4, I made pork pork steak sandwiches out of it, which was my intention. Have one meal with it, and the rest I could use for lunch for pork steak sandwiches. Yeah, sure could. With some onion, some tomatoes, sliced, tomatoes fresh, some lettuce, a little bit of mustard, and some Duke's mayo. Ooh, dog. And they were still jam up tasty. But, my muscles got a real workout here in the chew department. Anyway, that's why you ain't seen a cooking video in a while. The one I was going to share with you went north. And I know somebody's going to say in the comments, well, we say where I'm at, Mr. Tom, it went south. Well, I've explained that before. If you're living in the south, you can't say it went south. You in the south. You got to say it went north. And if you up north, where I'm originally from, we would have said it went south. Well, my parents said that for most of their life until they figured out they were the South. Yeah, and they had one of those, what they call epiphany moments. Yeah. Anyway, all I really wanted to share with y'all today was, got the feeders back up. And like I say, I was real surprised somebody didn't bring that up. Anyway, where's the bird feeders, Mr. Tom? So they're back up, they're back filled up. Got some brand new cord on them there. They're weather ready. Put another pan on the old bird bath. Got it all filled up. That'll be a daily chore. And if you so decide to put a bowl or pan or whatever out, or get you a bird bath, well, that's got to be a daily chore too. Just like your furry friends should be a daily chore. Fresh water. And, hey, twice a day is even better. Or 3 times. Depending on how much they drink. Kitties don't drink that much. Yep. They get clean in the mornings and clean in the evenings. And I keep an eye on it when I'm out here in case it gets a little low. I keep a jug of filtered water there beside the barn, and I'll top it off for them. Don't you worry. So, let me show you these here too, and what they're doing. If they'll let me sneak up on them. They probably won't, because they're laying right underneath the edge of that Buford holly over by the driveway. And they were just snoozing. Let's see if we can catch them, okay? Yep, there they are. Yeah, they heard us coming. Oh no. Spooky, he's got a critter. Yep, probably a gecko. I saw it in the leaves underneath the Buford holly. Speedy, well, she's not too much interested. But during the heat of the day, pretty much, this is where they hang out. If not, in the early mornings they'll hang out on the cool concrete in the coyote. And we did have Elrod this morning for breakfast, again, telling me all about the problems in the world he was. And I sat out with him, petting on him the whole entire time till he got his belly full. And then he came over here and went down close to the end and crashed for a while. But I think his people are home now, and I seen him go trotting off to the west. That's where he comes from. So that must be his other family too, and that's okay. So y'all, if y'all don't mind, I'm gonna go on in and cool down a bit. I might even break down and have me a cold Fanta, one of them orange ones. Yeah, I don't drink soda often, but my lord, an ice cold Fanta, orange or strawberry. Whew. I mean, so cold. that your throat just sort of clenches up. You can't beat that after a day like today. Oh, let me show you one last thing. Even though I showed you the garden bed yesterday. Yep. Now I know I told y'all I planted beans, one on each side of this here, these tomato post stakes and the bamboo. And you can see one. When I came out here this morning, they were just breaking through the ground. See the other one back there? Yeah. Yep. And then here's another one right there. And let's see. These have not popped through yet. You know, sometimes I get them a little deeper. But you can see two more there, one either side of that bamboo. And another there on the front side of that bamboo. And these bean seeds were planted Saturday afternoon. I think between 2 and 3. Maybe it's 3 and 4. And I was planting them while I was talking to Southern Boy Prepper. Yep, Regan, down there in Day Quincy, Louisiana. You know, LA. Yep. In fact, when I got done, I told him, yep, I done planted some beans, some corn, even some cucumbers. Yeah. But yesterday when I showed this to you, this was Tuesday, the 24th, there ain't no sign of them like I showed you. But I want to show you right there. You see that little lady? That's a cucumber. Market more cucumber. And you can't see it yet. Well, maybe you can. We'll get you down really close. You see that little corn sprout? Yep. Corn is starting to come up too. Now for the life of me, I can't remember what variety I planted. I'd have to look. And that, but yeah, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, 8, just barely above the surface. And if you're wondering what these here little white pellets are, since my little tender seedlings are starting to break through the ground, I decided I better apply some more of that Sluggo. Because the one thing slugs love above all things is your tender, emerging seedlings. You know, I know we've all come out here very next morning to check on the progress of our seedlings. And we had one the evening before, and there wasn't nothing but a stub left. Yep, that's slugs. I didn't always know that, but eventually I learned it. Mostly by camping out one time beside the garden many, many years ago in Tennessee. Back when I was trying to, well, not trying, making a living at truck farm, which is what they now call market garden farming. You know, back then it wasn't fancy. It was called truck farm. You grew your vegetables, you load them on the truck after you washed them and graded them, and you carried them on into town to the wholesaler, the grocery stores, supermarkets, which is where I sold all of mine, and the farmers market. Whatever I had left, I'd take them to the Lincoln County farmers market. But I thought y'all just might be interested. They were planted on Saturday afternoon, so that's Sunday, Monday, and when I came out this morning, which is Tuesday morning, 24, some of the beans were already breaking through. I could just barely see this little cucumber sprout, and I still couldn't see the corn. I didn't pick up on the corn till when I came out before y'all snuck up on me. So I seen it right before I started working on those bird feeders, me and Spooky. So I don't know about y'all. Ever since I first saw a seedling emerge from the garden through the ground and in my little styrofoam cup from my elementary school project when I was a little tiny boy, I've always had a fascination. I've always been full of anticipation. And I'll come out, even when I was working, you know, I'd drink my coffee and walk the garden, checking to see what came up before I ran on into the plant. Yep, and that first thing I did when I come home, well, say howdy to the kids and give the wife a nice hug and kiss, was change clothes and get out and check the garden. That's how much it has meant to me all my life. And I knew this year, even though I said I wasn't going to put nothing in, I pretty much knew. I was lying to myself. So, there you have it today. Hope you enjoyed it. I know it ain't much. It's just sort of a vlog, what we've been up to. And that, I know some of you look forward, keeping track of us. So I'm going to head her on in. You might have heard in the distance, yep, that's, oh, thunder rumbling coming in from the east, which is special and uncommon. It ain't been uncommon this year. But in the past, most of our storms have always come in the west. This year it's been a mixed bag. So, until old Spooky Speedy, sometimes Cleo and Elron, and I hope Magoo breaks free sooner or later. And of course, you know, Gracie, she's in monitoring the air conditioning. Laying on top of it, by the way, looking out the window. See you on the next video. Y'all take care. Stay safe. God bless each and every one of you. Goodbye for now. Spooky, Speedy, I forgot to turn the zoom off. I bet they could see the pores on my face. What do you think, Speedy? Yeah, probably could have. I hear you, my little lady. Okay, if you let me take a breather, I'll be whipping up the chow, okay? See you in about 15. I love you. Let's get our bird seed feeder thing and let's head it on in the house. Later, all.